Replacing a wheel adjuster mount on the Mopit isn't difficult, but due to its location, it will be a more lengthy process than most part replacements. You will need a 9/16 wrench or socket and a 5/32 Allen wrench, either the Mopit's onboard Allen tool or one of your choosing. For speed and ease of use, we prefer the T-handle variety. Before starting, you'll want to drain both tanks. To drain the bottom tank, while over a floor drain or another suitable location, pull the tubing from the valve fitting and open the valve. You'll now separate the top and bottom tanks by pulling the vacuum and squeegee hoses from their ports and unlatching the 3 buckles. Lift the top tank off and disconnect the wiring harness. Next, you'll want to remove the battery. Remove the mounting brackets and foam packing and lift the battery out. Before flipping the base over, remove the screw above the brush hood. Now, flip the base over, exposing the bottom of the chassis. If the waterline tubing isn't already disconnected from the valve fitting, do it now by gently pulling it free. This is also a good time to remove the wheel from the wheel adjuster mount being replaced. Use the 9/16 wrench to remove either the nut or bolt, depending on the block style your machine has. Using the 5/32 Allen wrench, remove these 5 screws. You can now lift the chassis off the tank, being careful not to catch the base plate on the water valve. Set it down right side up. You now have access to the wheel adjuster mount screws. With the 5/32 Allen wrench, remove the 4 screws. If the screws are too tight and won't break free, hit them a few times with a hammer and try again. You can now install the new wheel adjuster mount by following these steps in reverse order. Before installing the new adjuster mount, place it next to the old one on a flat surface. Use your 5/32 Allen wrench to adjust the new wheel adjuster up or down until the block position matches. This will speed things up in the end. If you've mixed up the screws, remember that the short screw goes on the side, over the brush hood. The other screws are the same, but the 5 that mount the chassis to the tank might still have a brown, rust-colored grease on them, while the 4 that secure the wheel adjuster mount should look clean. If they all look the same, don't worry about it. Using the 4 clean screws, attach the new wheel adjuster mount, making sure the wheel axle bolt is facing out, like this. Snug everything down. Flip the chassis over and place it on the bottom tank, making sure that the vacuum hose and wires are on the inside. Again, carefully slide the base plate under the water valve. replace the 5 mounting screws. Remove the axle bolt from the block and mount to the wheel with the washer on the outside. Connect the waterline tubing to the valve fitting. Flip the base over onto its wheels. Replace the screw over the brush hood. Reinstall the battery along with its foam packing and mounting brackets. Reconnect the wiring harness. It should make a click when fully connected. Set the top tank in place, latch the 3 buckles and return the hoses to their ports and keepers. Now comes the fun part. It's very important that the brush makes even contact with the floor from end to end. In a previous step, we matched the block position between the old and the new wheel adjuster mount as a starting point. You still might need to adjust the new wheel block up or down until it matches the brush deflection of the opposite side. What is brush deflection? This refers to the amount of brush coming in contact with the floor or brush pressure. When checking brush deflection, always make sure the caster wheel is rotated toward the back of the machine. Pushing the machine forward a foot or 2 should do the job. With the brush motor on, look at the brush profile as it makes contact with the floor. If you were to measure the width of the brush making contact with the floor surface, it should measure about 1.5 to 1 3/4 of an inch. If it helps, you can use a ruler. Check both sides. Turning the wheel block adjustment screw counterclockwise will raise the wheel and lower the brush. Turning it clockwise will do the opposite, lowering the wheel and raising the brush. It will require some trial and error, and adjustments may need to be made on both sides before this amount is achieved evenly across the brush. Keep working with it until both sides reach the proper deflection. As the brush wears over time, you can maintain this amount of deflection by adjusting the wheel adjuster mounts as needed. Start with 1/2 turn counterclockwise on each side. Then, use the previous steps to check the deflection.
Give us a call at 1-800-290-2833 or email us at mopit@mopit.com if you have any servicing or other questions about your Mopit. Thanks for being a Mopit customer.